to talk more about the ESFP in the Myers-Briggs system. We call these folks the Expressive Energizer. So listen more to learn about tips if you're an ESFP to be able to maximize your strength, one stretch opportunity, as well as just what these folks often seem like in their behavior, core traits that they bring to the workplace, and 3 tips for how we can support them if we have coworkers or loved ones who are ESFPs. So first, we'll talk big picture. So folks who have an ESFP profile are extroverted. So that E stands for an extrovert. These folks often talk through their thoughts. We call them solar powered because they need some outside world energy to be able to bounce their energy off of. S, the second letter, is for sensing. So that often means detailed, chronological, specific. They really love those details. They're also really grounded in the present moment. F is for feeling. So, of course, we all think, we all feel. In the Myers-Briggs system, that means they're kind of focused first on the impact on people or leading with their values when you see an F in a profile. And then P, that last letter, stands for perceiving. And so that often means options, like want to keep their options open as long as possible, exploring options. So these folks can be really fun-loving, warm, spontaneous for sure. When we see that S and P together, oftentimes spontaneous and want to explore the world a lot. So some workplace strengths that we might see in an ESFP, they may be morale boosting because of that exploration, that spontaneity, responsive. So if you have, next steps or something they need to do, they'll probably get into it really quickly. So really responsive. And then oftentimes really energized by people. So really, again, like really loving that people work, really digging into the impact on people. Potentially some famous ESFPs based on their communication style are Elton John, Marilyn Monroe, and Jamie Foxx. And so now we're going to give you 3 tips if you're an ESFP and you want to learn more about like what you're like and how to really bring out your what energizes you. So first tip, probably not surprising to you, is to engage with people often. So you're likely as an extrovert and ESFP really engaged by the world of people. So don't shy away from that. Make sure that you really find that time to engage with people and have that social connection to be able to fuel your creativity. A second tip for ESFPs is to celebrate your wins. Your wins and other people's wins can really bring you some joy. So make sure you don't just get caught in the moment of like running from action to action, but take some time to celebrate your wins and the progress that you're making together. You can really leverage that strength to uplift the teams that you're on. A third tip for ESFPs is to leave space for flexibility. So again, when you see that P in a Myers-Briggs profile, you probably want some options. So leaving your options open as long as possible. So even when of course, we all need some structure to bring to our day, into our year, but make sure you allow some time for flexibility. If you've got a day where you're really full of like just schedule, you can't have some flexibility in your day-to-day work, make sure you build that in the next day or over the weekend. You're really able to do your best when you're not too rigid. So a stretch opportunity for ESFPs is to be able to build in small bits of planning. So again, you're probably really spontaneous, action oriented, but it's important for all of us to grow and to be able to have planning. So make sure that you build in some plans, time to plan, because that'll help you feel even more in control. And so I think about it as like providing some structure to yourself for the day, for the year, for the week, whatever that looks like, so that then you can kind of flex within that structure. Really important to do that, and it helps you just to be able to bring your strengths to life when you've got some planning time, you got some structure. If you work with an ESFP, of course, feel free to take any of those tips, but specifically some ways to keep your teammate energized and engaged are first to include them early. They're really action oriented, love to be in on the action and the decisions, and can have some spontaneous like ideas. So be sure to include them early in the planning process. Keep the vibe positive so they really respond to fun, energy, encouragement. That F in the profile, like people can deal with hard things, but they really want to have that energy and excitement. So make sure that you kind of help to keep that vibe positive, and that'll keep them motivated moving forward and let them shine. So again, they love interactive work, they love movement and really getting into action and having a positive impact on people. So you can leverage that in the work that you have. If you are a fan of DISC, D-I-S-C, it is based on the work of Carl Jung as well, just like the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, MBTI is. So if you know a little bit about DISC or are interested, ESFPs, an overlap in the DISC system is that they often show I traits. So that is like influence is the way that we call that. And so those behaviors can look like expressive, people-driven, enthusiastic, full of life, like really bring that energy up in the room. So you might see some overlap there with the DISC system. As you may be able to tell, we love working with people. I love supporting people to learn more about their style, their preferences, what that looks like in their own personal and professional growth, as well as how they can use that to communicate better with people and achieve your goals. So please reach out if you want to learn more about the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator and what it looks like on your team for your own leadership development. We do one-on-one coaching, we do group coaching, and we lead workshops with teams. So just reach out at www.kjconsultinggroup.com. Thanks.